Yeah, I would say it possibly could resolve the problem. I've done a lot of research, a lot of investment in the site. Um, I do need to make it clear that there is a service fee per month that's generated every 3 months, 6 months, or a year. It could either be a one-time fee for 3 months, 6 months, or a year, or it's a recurring fee. Purpose of that fee, um, I'll go ahead and share my screen and let that explain for itself. So let me go ahead and let me send you a request. Give me share rights, and then we'll go over it.
Okay, you're good.
Share. We're gonna go here. Share. All right. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
All right. So this is the states.national freedom support website. This is the first page you come to. I'm going to go ahead and minimize the participants out of my way so I can show you this. Okay. Across the top, you have your menu bar of all the options. And then what it does is it comes in here and it shows you that you can generate 928 and baby D documents for anybody unlimitedly, state notices unlimitedly. You can post any public notices, assembly notices, anything that's notice related, land patent notices, all that here on the site. Um, you can post your recorded documents on the backup LRO that I've created if you paid for a year's subscription. It's just a backup. Um, I do recommend doing the Federation LRO and the bucolic law, living law LRO, which you'll see in here that I do promote that. There are some discounted remedies for solutions for like citations, credit, things like that that we offer. Inside the website, there's a bunch of groups that go over global family information, guides, support forums for like maybe coordinators or recording secretaries, pretty much anything. You can save files to it, bookmarks, post events for everybody to see, and you can write each other personal messages and friend each other like you would on Facebook, kind of like. Um, and this kind of just goes over like the cost. It shows you how it works, like a one-time payment or subscription. You can even break this down into interest, small little payments like $7.50 every so often through Afterpay. So I try to make it as affordable as possible. Um, it'll give you like little screenshots what's going on inside. So I'll just skip that since we're about to demonstrate it. Okay. And then at the very bottom, it basically explains all funds are used to update the site, processes, provide support and FAQs, maintain notices, research, and provide the ability to help living men and women who may not be able to financially afford some of the services or subscriptions but need remedy assistance or sovereign support. So giving an example, some people I came across who were status corrected because other people have done remedies. I was able to help those in need to do a citation remedy and get those citations dismissed in court without having to worry about the ability of not being able to help them because there was no funds to be able to assist with basically. You're basically paying for a service. Our time is valuable. If you don't want to pay, please take the time to research trial and error like we did with no hard feelings. You're basically paying for a service subscription above. All options and resources can be done freely at no cost with your own self governing and self efforts. Otherwise, feel free to purchase a service and subscription. Be also sure to join your state assembly group to find your local state assembly. Now, what that is referring to at the very bottom here on this website, when you go back up, you got a couple groups here, Federation, ASNs. Now, you're not going to see it on this one, but generally right here, you're going to have the Federation resource and join your assembly. And I'll show you that one in a minute. Because I'm logged in, it's not going to show it. It's going to show the ones I've created recently. Okay. Um, I really simplified this as best as I could. So if you go to your correct your status steps, you got 7 steps. Why, becoming, how to instructions, generate your documents, record on the LRO, open a global family bank account, and then join and assist your assembly. You got your generators listed here for American, Notary, recording secretary, state notices, and then Canada coming soon. Then you have your Learn Your 928 documents. That takes you to the Global Family Group's education on learning your documents, which I have to recommend is extremely beautiful. So that's why I put it up here. Then you have your how-to guides, how to use the generators for the state and for the 928 documents, and how to set up your LROs and upload your documents. Then I also have LRO notices. So you've got the National Freedom Support LRO, the Bucolic Living Laws LRO, the American States Assembly LRO, which is the Federation LRO. Notices posted on the state site here, and then the Bucolic Living Laws notices website as well. Then under groups and tools, you got groups, files, and events. The rest is all me. And then you got remedy options. It takes you to and then you have FAQs. Now, I made this real simple. If you click on support to the lower left, you can ask a question if you can't find it in the FAQs. Takes a few days to respond. You'll just go to your support tickets and then see the response. If you go to FAQs, I got instructions on how to create and upload your LRO, hard things to find, edit your profile, website menu bar overview. Now this one's really good. If you go to the website menu bar overview, it basically goes over the entire menu. So correct your status steps. Each step helps you progress to correcting your political status using the 928 documents. Why? Teaches you why to correct. Becoming goes over the documents are needed to become an American state national or American state citizen. How-to instructions takes you to the 928 generator instructions, so you learn how to use the generator to create your documents. Generating documents takes you to the generator. Recording on the LRO. This takes you to the step-by-step instructions setting up the Federation, Bucolic Living Law, and the National Freedom Support LRO and how to upload your documents to record them. Open a Global Family Bank. Shows step-by-step instructions on setting up the account and the Global Family Group Bank. Join and assist your assemblies. This takes you to the group to see a list of the state assemblies so that you can contact them and join them and help build your state. These are some basic things that I've done. Now, if I go to tools and groups, the first group is all as one, friend each other. So let's say you want to be friends with somebody. You would go to this group, and right here it would say join the group. You would join the group, and then you would view all the members on that group and then add them. I have instructions on how to do that. And then you can write each other personal messages, things like that. The American State Nationals and Citizen Group, at the top here, it tells you it welcomes you and tells you to make sure that you click on view all to view everything that's in here because there's so much information in this site. You want to be able to make sure you view all of it. Okay. So in this group, you got bookmarks. You got bookmarks to watching, something's wrong with all the videos on YouTube, blood money videos, charting your course, frequently asked questions, the United States podcasts, honest articles, and there's a lot more in there. Then it goes over a lot of stuff like why to correct your status. Soon I'll have mailing state notices and processes, learning postal power and stamps, basically all the little steps. So I'll give an example. If I go to view all, welcomes everybody to the land and soil. It goes over here and it's just a little general message about welcoming you here. Or steps to becoming an American state national or state citizen. It goes over all the information you need to know. What documents you need, how to set up the LRO. That's just an example of one of the groups. ASN Business Exchange, that shows you like different businesses. If an ASN has a business, you can go there and post what business they have. Assembly notices, that's where you would post your notices for your assembly. Coordinators and core coordinators, that's where core coordinators and coordinators would go to discuss things. I'll show an example of this one real quick just so you can see it. but it gives the coordinators an easy access site where, you know, they need their logins, their member logins, all the little links that they need to maybe share with somebody. It's all here. Even the weekly Thursday night coordinator call, they go in there and they see that link. Um, Obviously, if you have to be invited for that one, that's why it's closed. Federation resources. This shows you all the information about the Federation, how to contact them, the training portal for them, ASN Secure, so that you can donate to ANA, things like that. Even do your documents there if you wanted to. The Colleague Living Law, LRO information. Um, and then it's just, got a little informational piece here. It basically, as you can see, it simplifies everything for everybody. Join your state assembly. This one has all the declared links by Johnny Perry, which he did a great job on that, so that's why I bookmarked it. It shows you how to contact all your state assemblies. Some assembly required, so people can learn how to build their assembly. The 50 assembly information links. And then, of course, if I go to view all in the discussions, you're going to see every assembly listed. So let's say, I don't know, you're in Kansas. I click on Kansas. It's going to show that state seal so you know who the seal is for. So when you go to their website, if you don't see the seal, then obviously you're on the wrong site. It even has a direct link to their contact information and all their general information. Another good example would probably be, I think Alaska has a lot of information on there. So let me go to theirs. Let's go to Alaska. And see, it just shows all the general information, their website, how to contact their coordinator, and it has all their information here. So there's no question to who you need to contact. You can figure that out right away. Global Family Group Assistance. This one has all the bookmarks for Global Family Group, whether it's a trust account, a prosperity account, all that stuff, even the history. This shows you a good history about, how we came to where we are. And then in the discussions, you have a lot of resources here. So on this one right here, the Global Family Group Assistance information, I simplified things for people. So you have all the email addresses you need to add that are important, helpful information. And then let's say, for instance, you forgot your password, okay? And you're wondering how to get a hold of them. Well, right here it shows the email address to get them. But if you click on password reset, it's automatically going to open up your email. I don't know if you guys can see that right now. It probably disappeared. And what it does is it automatically opens your email, and then you have a short email message already pre-generated so that you can contact them directly without having to worry about what to say.
This is amazing. It's a lot of thought put into it, and it's great to keep it simplified. I love it. What about that? You have everything laid out here for everybody, and a newbie comes in. What do you have to show to say not to sign up to a global account first before
Ah, great
doing
question.
doing their paperwork first? And if they do their paperwork and go to global next, what do you have to show them the difference between a global account and a vault account?
All
I yield.
right. So that was a great question. So when we sign up for this, okay, the very first thing is the order of things, okay? So right here, correct your status steps. You go to step one, it opens up a new window, and it tells you why you're correcting your status. Okay? When we go to step two, becoming. That takes you to another window, and it goes over the information I just showed you. Why are you becoming that? Step three, how-to instructions. This takes you to the document generator and goes over very valid and important information that you're going to want to review to make a decision on your documents. And then it shows you how to use the generator. Okay. Outlines everything, gives you examples of how to do it. And then I've even clicked, I made a video. So if you click that one, that takes you to a simple no sound audio video, loads, walks you through it, shows you how to do every step all the way through. Real simple. And then it shows you the documents and how they're generated and stuff like that. Okay. Um, go back. So basically, the correct your status steps is the step-by-step process of doing things. Once you've done your documents through the generator, then you go to the autograph instructions and it clearly shows you how to do the autograph instructions, prime examples, everything like that. And then you go to step 4. You actually go to the generator. And this is where you would log into the generator, copy the password, put it in, go here, not now. And then you start filling out the generator. And the only way to access the generator is through this website. So that's why the password is there. I don't really care. You can't do anything without being on here. Um, then when you're done with that, you'd say your documents are done. Then you go to the next step, LRO, and it shows you how to go through the Federation's website, create an account. Then it shows you how to upload your documents. If you don't know how to do it there, go to Bucolic Living Law. Same thing, how to create an account, how to upload your documents. Then you go to the bank. Shows you step-by-step instructions how to set up your bank. Here's that little pre-example I was showing you about like how it pre-generates what the email does and what it says. And it sends a polite message because if you send like a very frustrated message, we're not about that. We're about love and harmony. And then what emails you need. Then you go to your assembly.
As far as the bank setup, do you have the specific detailed notice about when they first open up the account that they have that PIN number to write it down or take a snapshot of it? Do you
Go to
remember
group.
that?
Yep. Go to groups. Go to groups. Go to global family and group assistance. You all. I know it's in one of these. I don't remember which one right away because you put me on the spot. But if it's not in here, I could have sworn I put it in here. If it's not in here, I put it in there, and it actually might be in the step-by-step steps. And let me check them real quick. So let's go down. Yeah, see right here. Very important. Step 7. Go to your messages, find the message about your security key, open the security key, now click on print, print the message and save it. Also added security, write it down, and it shows you an example of that message. It's actually in the setup instructions. That was a great question, Mike. I went over all that stuff because I know all of us have gone through it and fumbled. So I wanted to make it real simple. When you're done with all that, you can go to the learn your documents and go through the global family group and learn all what the documents mean. Great educational piece. So it's all here. So what I may do now that you brought that up, I may in the groups or I'll make an announcement. Very first step you do when you're coming back in here, go to correct your status steps. That's the first thing you're going to want to do. Like I've even created to the point where you can set up a profile. You create your profile. If you want to put how many stars you have in your passport, what you're affiliated as a role, your phone number, your email, and create a little profile, you could do that. And on here, you got what little friends you got, who's online, bookmarks you might have created. There's a lot in here. And that's just kind of a rundown.
Okay, well, that's quite amazing platform that you created there, Anthony. I'd have to give you a lot of credit for that. That's amazing. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. And I love how you keep it very simplified because, people can get lost in the sea of information when they're first starting off and don't, but I love how you have support there too to help guide people. They feel a little left out. They just click on support and you could help them out. So I could definitely see the value in this website, and the hard work and dedication you put into it is really going to pay off, and it's going to help so many people get their paperwork done efficiently and done in the right way and get recorded and published on the land recording office. Now, also, when you publish on the LRO, of course, you showed some other land recording offices. It's best that everybody that comes in knows that you don't have to just publish and record in one LRO. It's best to get on as many LROs out there and get
That's
your
correct.
get
Yeah.
your information out there that you are status corrected, just to show everyone who you are, because you'll have a bunch of references to point people to and say, hey, go look at this. I'm published here, I'm published there. This is who I am. And the more the better. So, Lavelle, you had your hand up. You have a question?
Well, I was just going to make a comment. Yes, Anthony, this is a great job that you've done. And I just wanted to add to, like, with the generators, a lot of times people are looking at, what do I need to write? And once again, the generators already have it written. All you're doing is putting your personal information and it's generating it and you're printing it out. You do your seal, your thumbprint, all of that. However, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it, especially when you're initially coming in. And I know we can remember how daunting that was, for us. And what do we write? And it's already there. It's already listed, and then you just print it out and send it to where you need to send it. So even the boxes, even before you get to write, say for instance, your name, it'll say name inside the box. So it's really helpful just for that very new person that feels kind of, intimidated or overwhelmed. It takes that all the way. I you.
Yeah, and to note to that, Lavelle, I when I created the video without sound, just to kind of walk through, it literally took me 8 to 9 minutes going slow, walking through and typing the information in, and then selecting a random photo because you should be selecting a passport photo of like yourself for your witness forms in color. Um, it literally generated the documents in 30 seconds.
Wow.
Um, and Mike, I do want to make it clear. I understand that there is a service fee of $10 per month on here, and we've explained why that is.
Well,
But
that's nothing. That's like a cup. That's like 2 cups of coffee for
right,
at
but
Starbucks.
but
Like,
there's two benefits to that. Number one, you
yeah,
can do your own documents. Number two, you can do your friends, your families, your coworkers. You can help anybody come back to the land and soil. It
right.
doesn't have to be just you. And
Right.
number three, the minute we have access to Global Family Group, this whole service is going to be free. It's already geared and designed
Mhm.
to just flip a switch and automatically you'll be able to just register and get in.
That's beautiful. And I don't want to have any misconceptions here or misunderstandings about the fee. And I do understand the fee. I mean, I understand other people will have maybe someone to say, "Oh, you could always do this for free." Yeah, but we laid all that out already, that you can go ahead and do this for free. But if you don't know what you're doing, and instead of spending two cups of Starbucks coffee a week or a month or whatever, I mean, come into this and this will help you get done quick. And I see the value in it. I really do see the value for what it is. I mean,
And then
I-
on top of that, a lot of people are kind of concerned about the documents themselves and whether or not they're correct. I spent 6 months going through TASA's documents,
Mm,
implementing them,
mhm.
and making sure that there's any newer changes that need to be made over time that we've realized. I've made those changes. Like I went through this thick and thin with a needle in a haystack, basically, correcting any errors that I may have found and just
Mm,
going through. So it's all from TASA. It's not like I'm just creating my own stuff.
right. But
It's
very, very meticulous work that you've
right.
accomplished here,
And,
which is
and
good. I commend you. Thank you.
let me go ahead and show you something real quick.
Anthony, can you, I just sent my email into the chat. Will you email me the link?
Yeah, yeah, I will definitely do that.
Thank you.
I'll check your message here in just a second. So if I go to this guide, in this guide for the generators, it shows you every document it generated. So if you were born in the United States, that document generator is going to create all 17 of these documents in case you need them. Let's say you have been married once or twice, it'll generate those name variants for you. Um, let's say you were born outside of the country, like on a military base, okay? It'll generate all of these documents, all 21 of them, all at once. And you only basically keep the ones you need. So if you were if you're not an undocumented immigrant, you just delete that document. If you're not a green card legal immigrant, then you delete that one. If you're naturalized, you keep that one. If you're a federal employee, you keep that one. And that's basically how it works. And that's why the step two was important, because step two goes over the documents you're going to need and explains those to you. Baby deeds. Now, what's cool about the baby deed generator is, say all your children have the same mother and father, all you would have to basically do is just change the child's name and the date of birth and the time. And that's it. I can show you that one real quick. Let me go to baby deed. I think I already have it saved. So, and see, the baby D generator goes over several functions of it. So if both your parents were born in the United States, you pick the first one. If both your parents are born out of the United States, you pick this one. If they were if the father was in a different country and the mother was born in the United States, you pick this one. If the mother was born in another country and the father was born in the United States, you pick that one. So say we pick that one, password in, and then basically all you gotta do is just put the kid's information, the address information. Were they the first child? Were they the fifth child? Are they the first, the fifth daughter or son? Where they were born, the state, the county, the date, the time, the father's information, the mother's information, and then you would pick the photo that I put on there for it's like the little tree that you have at the top of the document. So you'd pick that photo, all right? And then you would just simply go to the bottom and hit generate. Now, if I do this right now, it wants me to pick an image. So I'll just pick a random image. I don't know. That's, I have any, yeah, I'll just pick the flag. Okay. And I hit generate and it's done. It's already there. It's literally right here. Now there's not going to be anything in here because I didn't fill it in, but it immediately did it.
What's nice, it saves all your data and you got everything organized for files for future
Well,
reference.
well, I will say this. So a lot of people are worried about privacy. Whatever's in this generator, the minute you close, it's gone. This does not save nothing. The reason I designed these the way I designed them is so that none of your personal information is saved. So the only thing that has your information is those documents once they download it. That's why I wanted it on a computer. I didn't want people exchanging their information through email. I wanted it physically on their machine so that they keep their privacy. So nothing is saved on the site, nothing is saved in the generator. It's only in the documents.
That's beautiful. I really think people would absolutely love that. And I love it. So that was a great idea. So, well, thank you so much, Anthony. I really do appreciate you sharing that with us. Does anybody have any questions for Anthony?
I don't think at the moment, I think it was very detailed, and I think it was a lot of appreciation for you to put in the time and the effort to do that for everybody, because I know, like, in general, it takes a lot of time to do something not just for yourself but for everybody, and like how many hours you're dedicating to this project for to make it simpler down the road for people to be able to really do these step by steps. I know my process wasn't as difficult, but I would say it's kind of everything after, because I had Nancy. Thank goodness for Nancy that I was able to complete my documentation, but it was still like all the stuff afterwards that's kind of that I was getting confused on, and I think this website does help with all of the aspects. So I think it's amazing that you put the time and effort into this. So I definitely wanted the link emailed to me so I could go and check it out on my own when I have some free time. So
Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely a breath of fresh air because now it's giving us options. We need tools like this. We definitely need tools like this. And you mentioned Nancy. I remember talking to Nancy when she had talked to me about when she first started off doing her own paperwork without any help. She said it was rough. It was tough. I mean, trying to figure out everything just going off the TASA website. Now we got something simplified for people, and it's going to speed up the process. It's going to bring in more and more people faster because everything's laid out in front of them. I mean, it's a step-by-step cookie cutter system that grandma could do,
Right.
grandpa could do. So I commend you on that, Anthony. Thank you so
Appreciate
much for creating this platform for us.
I did post a link in the chat over there. So if you guys wanted to go and check it out, you can. Yeah, it took me about a year and a half to create the platform.
Wow. Yeah. So you've been dedicated working behind the scenes this whole time, and we thank you for that, for bringing this forward for us. This is definitely going to be a great tool that I'm going to be uh, providing the people to
Yeah,
utilize.
I just want basically everybody to come together and to bring everybody home fast. That's
Oh,
the essence of it. Because like
that's
at the end of the day, let's paint this scenario. Global Family Group opens up, we all get our funds. People are going to start seeing that we're getting our funds, okay, and they're going to want to come home. Do you have any idea how big of a backlog it's going to be for recording secretaries and coordinators trying to do everybody's paperwork?
absolutely. I already painted that picture in other people's minds. I'm like, what are you waiting for? It's time for you to do this now. Like my brother, he's stalling, he's just like, I want to see when the money comes in. No, that shouldn't be the carrot on the stick. You should do this now. And I paint
Right.
the picture in people's heads. I'm like, imagine 100 football fields packed with people, and you got one entrance door to get in. All right.
Yeah,
When the bell goes off, how many people, who's going to be the first person in that door? Right.
right, exactly.
And who is going to be, I mean, if you got 10 football fields full of people, you got to have 10 football fields full of people that are ready to assist each person. And we don't have that. So yeah,
Could you imagine right now if all 50 state assemblies were to get together and everybody on their assembly were to use that site, how fast everybody would get their documents?
yeah, that's beautiful. Well, let me ask you this. Is the server going to handle the
It
amount of
should.
traffic coming through?
It should. I have it set to unlimited, so
Bravo. I'm glad I brought you on for this meeting for the outreach because this is going to be such a great tool to help us all. So, yeah, I'm excited and I'm really excited. So, thank you, Anthony.
you're
If
very
there's
welcome.
any more questions, go ahead, shoot.
I guess I will clarify that the website you can use to, like, the process I did with Nancy, where she did all my documentations. You can get all the documentations, but on your website, and then included anything after that, like you said, was remedy. So it does both.
Yeah, so basically the site does your 928 documents, your baby deeds, and your state notices.
Okay.
Um, Remedy options are a separate service and they have a separate cost. But the primary goal of that site is your 928 documents, um, and your baby deeds and your state notices. And basically, once you generate them, you reach out to your coordinator to help you record them after you've gotten them notarized.
Got it. Okay.
So
All
it
right.
kind of
Cool. I
helps
mean,
takes the
that's
load off the recording secretary or the assembly.
yeah,
It's
that's what I was just thinking. Because then I would like for me, if I was redoing it, I could, or like I was, if my fiance is kind of like Michael's brother, he wants to see the funds first because I guess if he sees the funds, then it makes it a reality.
right.
But I could take him to the website, I could pay, get his documentations, and then take them to Nancy, and they could already be officialized. And you just got to bring two witnesses, and you're all set.
Right. Now, I will say this currently, right now on the site, notary documents are the only available option. So you would have to see a public notary.
Hmm.
I am working on the recording secretary documents and the Canadian documents because you have to understand that there are over 4 different versions of generators, all having at least, I don't know, up to 32 document variations. So it's a lot of code.
Yeah.
I will say this though. Um, Matter of fact, I'll share this. I put this in my how-to guide because it's a very important food for thought. Okay, because a lot of people didn't really think about this aspect, um, and that's mainly because they're not in the scenario to maybe think about it. Um, so on my document generator, it goes over this fundamental important thing. Okay. Um, it basically says important need to know when selecting which style 928 document to generate between notary public or recording secretary, it helps to know the benefits and disadvantages between the two in the terms of jurisdiction and present life circumstances. Notary public. These documents are sealed and signed by a state notary public in your local state and county. When you finalize your documents in this format, these 928 documents hold up in de facto courts because by law the notary took an oath to uphold and protect the state. This grants the notary power over the judge. Basically, what the notary says, signs, or seals is law, and the judge has to honor it. It is no longer what is considered hearsay. Okay? If you notarize 3 packets of the same 928 documents, this covers you in land, air, water, and water jurisdictions when recorded at your local de facto deeds office, hence the importance of understanding jurisdiction and making a choice. Now, your recording secretary documents, when recorded secretary completes your 928 documents, this holds jurisdiction on the land and soil and is recognized only in land and soil jurisdiction courts. Note, check with your assembly to see if there are any courts are up and running. If you try to use these documents in de facto courts, it may not work because lawyers or judges can dismiss them as hearsay or fraudulent because the seal is not that of a recognized notary public sworn to protect the state you're in. A lawyer or a judge can call to subpoena the individual who signed and sealed your documents. If they are not a notary public, the sign and seal will not be recognized in the court and could be deemed fraudulent, misleading documents. So, the best way I would say to decide is a simple question for yourself. A, are you going to be dealing with de facto courts? A, yes, notary it is. No, recording secretary it is. Both methods are perfectly fine for recording and bringing you back to the land and soil. You just need to decide your situation. And I made that very clear for people because, like I said, I have remedy options on the website. And those remedy options are things that I have experienced myself going through and dealing with de facto courts and what they honor and what they don't honor. And because I'm a public notary, I understand the law of the importance and power of a notary. So those are the kind of things that's why I put the notary up first, because it has a stronger hold on making sure that we're protected when having to deal with de facto. I hope that makes sense. I hope I
Gotcha.
didn't overwhelm you.
Does. That's awesome. Yeah, it's great that you made those clear distinctions so people would understand, because there are so many different avenues and paths you could go down, and people might get perplexed or confused of which way they're going to go. But it's a good thing you made those clear distinctions and pointing those out. So I thank you once again, Anthony, for bringing forth this to the table and showing us this. This is great. I'm definitely going to include these website links on my cards that I pass out when I go out to outreach, because this will be a great place for people to go and get started. I just point them right to the website, and they just log on and become a member, and then get started. So appreciate that. So that's last call. Anybody else have any questions? All right.
Well, before you go, it looked like Lavelle asked a question in the chat. After completed, can we upload the documents ourselves, right, on the LRO? So yes, you would basically need to create your LRO on the Federation or the Bucolic Living Laws LRO. And then after you do that, you need to get your recording number. Now, if I remember correctly, the Federation LRO, you may have to get your recording number from the recording secretary. I think they generate that. On the Bucolic Living Law, they're actually implementing those features now, and then once it's active, then people can just do it on their own.
Perfect. All right, great job, everybody. Great job, Anthony. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one, guys.